I'm Jason J. Rock Houston, and this is Guitarist TV. And our special guest today is lead singer, guitarist Jammie Bosstel from the band Bosstel. And that's just kind of a brief introduction. So you want to tell us what other bands you're a part of as well?
I play in Praise the Fallen, band Praise the Fallen, and I also do recording stuff just in my own name too.
Yeah, in fact, I seen you advertise a song on the Facebook page, and so kind of prepping for the interview today. The song I'm talking about is More Than Enough, which I think is a great, catchy kind of
Oh,
commercial
thanks.
hard rock.
Awesome, man. I don't know if anybody was paying attention. I put
Yeah.
it out the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it's interesting you say that because, I've been advertising a lot of interviews I have coming up, and somewhere with some folks that are more established than you. And I bring that only up because I post about where I'm going to be speaking to you, and it got a lot more response than some of those other folks. That's not saying anything about anybody else. Just saying that I think you have an audience. I think people are obviously paying attention, so that's a good thing.
Well, that's good. Hopefully my work paying off then. That's what matters.
Yeah. So again, I really dug this song More Than Enough. You want to talk a little bit about that? And I guess a great question is, so how do you decide like a song like that if you're gonna record it as a solo track or with one of the bands?
I can just tell, the Bosstel stuff, so it's becoming a little more heavier. It's also have some electronics involved and loops and beats and dance beats and stuff. And then Praise the Fallen is just taking its own entity as far as like we all write together. We do it the old school way where we jam in a room and we come up with riffs and write songs together. And then the other stuff that was in my name, that kind of just happened by accident. I had a friend of mine pass away from cancer.
Okay.
And I decided to have him come in the studio. He always wanted to do a song with me.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and I recorded a song with him. It's called These Are the Days. If you checked out that stuff, that's the song. The guitar player that played the solo on that song actually goes back in 2014 when I started the band Praise the Fallen in 2009 with John Sturr. Later on in 2014, he passed on. They had a memorial. The guitar player that filled in for John at his memorial, his name was Jeff Sorgenfry.
Wow.
And Jeff and we stayed in touch throughout the years. And every time I ran into him, he played in a local cover band here. He had a family and stuff he had to take care of. So he could never join my band. So he was in a position where, he played in a cover band and he was making extra money for his family and stuff. But he always said to me every time I ran, he's like, man, I would love to do a song with you. And I made that happen, basically. I had him come in. We did the song, These Are the Days. I actually put it on the local radio station here. I made a lyric video for it and everything, and kind of just, made him feel like a rock star, even through a dark time for him,
Yeah, sure.
And then the reaction I got, I had other people contact me and say, man, I like the song. I'd like to collaborate with you too. Some local guitar players here in the scene in South Bend. And I had Aaron Rodu in my blood. And then I did a song with Jason Cheek. It's called Too Little Too Late.
Oh.
These are all unknown guitar players, but they're great. They're just as great as any national out there.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that would be cool to collaborate. I've started something here. Now I have Bosstel, I have Praise the Fallen. Well, what do I do with this stuff? And it seemed like the stuff I was doing with these guitar players was leaning more into a pop rock realm. And when I did More Than Enough, I recorded that, and it definitely has a pop rock element. It's not like the heavier Praise the Fallen stuff.
I think if you could get it on radio, it'd be a big hit, like very radio friendly.
Well, that's awesome, man. I did that song all by myself right here in my bedroom studio. I did it for my wife for Valentine's Day.
That would be a great way to kind of introduce people to, hey, this is who I am, and this is it's just a great catchy tune. And I just fell in love with it instantly. So I think it's great that you kind of put that out there, because to be honest, I might not have checked it out otherwise.
Well, that's cool. Then I'll keep writing songs.
Yeah. And so, Praise the Fallen, when your bandmate passed away, what are you going to do? You're going to break up because the guy died, but there are some bands that might have done that. What was your inspiration to say, okay, we're gonna even though he's no longer here, we're in his spirit, we're gonna carry on with the band.
Well, that started in 2009 when John Sturr from Lillian Axe and I started Praise the Fallen. He passed away first.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he's passed away in 2014. Jeff filled in on guitar at John's memorial. He
Okay.
could never he could never join the band, but
Yeah.
even though he played at the memorial and filled in, I always considered him as a part of the chapter. You
Okay.
know, we had a bass player that played in Praise the Fallen when John was in the band too. He had passed away also. I've had a few people pass away. It's just I know that those people would never want me to stop what I'm doing.
Well,
So
I'm glad you got that spirit to carry on. I mean, because I imagine it's hard to when you lose not just one but two band members. You're like, oh well, this isn't funny
yeah,
anymore. You might get that feeling, possibly, but you went the other way, like we're going to carry on in their spirit. I kind of love that.
yeah. Well, I had a band before. Well, Praise the Fallen was together from 2009 to 2011, and John was also in a band called Brand New Machine. I don't know if you ever heard of that band.
Check them
Uh,
out.
yeah, they're pretty good. You probably dig them. Kind of 80s, late
Got it.
90s
Yeah.
rock. They have an album out, and John was doing that at the same time when he was here. And John moved back to Dallas, Texas. Is what happened. He moved back to Dallas. I left this area, South Bend. I went to Chicago, and I started the band called Blind Spot.
Okay.
Now, my drummer, the drummer that plays in Enough's Enough now, his
Okay.
name is Daniel Hill. Daniel Hill played with me in Blind Spot in Chicago.
Wow.
What had happened was Blind Spot, it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Dan left us, joined Enough's Enough. I didn't want to continue driving to Chicago from South Bend
You can
back
understand
and
that.
forth.
Yeah.
Did it for 3 years. It was a long drive, 3 years. We had a lot going on though. It was a great time, good band, all that. And then John had passed away. My old drummer came back that I had in PTF in 2009, said we should play his memorial. Long story short, played the memorial. We had Jeff fill in. We played, and there was a lot of people there that were also in the industry at the time. With John at the time, knew John from Dallas and from LA. They liked the stuff. They said, man, you should keep this going. So I decided at that time, I'm like, I'm going to carry Praise the Fallen on in John's honor.
So what's going on with Praise the Fallen currently?
We're working on EP. I
Is
just
that what
posted.
you were in the studio for yesterday? I was reading.
Yes, I was at the Nook Studio in New Lenox, Illinois, with his name is Nick Nativo.
Okay.
We like with Nick. We have a friend here. His name's Brandon Garrett. He's in a band called Autumn Academy. You
Wow.
got to check them out. Those guys are great. They're from Niles, Michigan here. And he's going to go ahead and produce and master our next EP. We did some of these songs. You'll find some of these songs if you look on Spotify.
Okay.
The songs that we're coming out with, the new EP is going to be called Changes. We have a song right now on Spotify. It's got like 5,038 plays.
Somebody listening, my friend. Yeah. Wow.
We recorded that song in 2017. Just long story short, the members I have now are just better players, and we could just do the songs more justice. The production at the time was good at the time. We're going for a more modern production, and we're just curious. Let's see if we can revamp these songs and make them better.
With that
So,
being said, is it a matter of just the difference in the production and the technology, or have you seen because of the caliber of these players that these songs have really changed from what they originally were?
oh, definitely. That's definitely it, Jason. That just tighter. Songs are tighter. Our drummer plays it differently than the drummer did in 2016. Not taking anything away from him, but just when we listen now, I've become a better guitar player myself compared to when I first did that. For example, the song Changes.
Makes sense,
When I
yeah.
first did the song Changes, the way I'm playing it now and the way my other guitar player plays it now is a little bit different than the way the other guitar player did.
Yeah.
So we just let's just revamp these songs. We knew they were strong because the audience reaction we get every time we play them. And there's a couple where we did a song called The Answer to Know Why, Scream, If You Feel Alive. We did with a producer here out of Granger, Indiana. just the production is just not up to
Right.
snuff,
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
to 2023 snuff. You
Sure,
know what I
sure,
mean?
sure.
So we're like just curious what this song would sound like if we redid it with more modern production,
Now,
basically.
when the new guys come in, were they allowed to kind of give you suggestions? This is a great song, but maybe if you did this, we could make it sound
Yes.
better.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. We just got a new bass player. My bass player and I, the bass player I had with Praise the Fallen, he played with me since 2015.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
kind of different. He joined a different band. We just went in different directions. We have a new bass player that's just, he's really good, man. He just plays with more precision.
Yeah.
It's got, the band's got a new energy. Everybody's positive, and
That's
it's
great.
just going a lot better, you
Yeah, and
know?
a couple other songs of yours I was checking out and prepping for every day. There's another one called "In My Blood." It's kind of got also kind of a commercial, but it's a little more heavier than like Morbid Enough, and then there's another one I listened to, 43. That's kind of got more of an alternative rock sound, and just these three songs that I took the time to listen to today, that's what I dig. If
What was
if
that
you're
last one you said? I'm sorry.
43, it's got like an alternative rock sound.
Oh, Leave This All Behind?
That's probably it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah,
For the Bosstel stuff? Is that what you're
yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
was just going on YouTube and it said Jammie Bosstel, and the three I listened to is More Than Enough, In My Blood, and I thought the track was 43. It had number 43 on.
Oh, 43.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. I did that with acoustic and piano and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna redo that song too. You
Okay.
know, again, I'll record this stuff, and some of that stuff, like that recording, probably I forgot that was out there actually. That song was recorded when I first got my home studio here. So I definitely want to redo that, make it
Yeah, well, I
better.
urge people to go on YouTube because actually what I did is I initially checked out More Than Enough because that's the song you posted, and then this other stuff they suggested, just from checking that out. And so
Oh
if people
wow,
go on
that's
YouTube,
cool.
definitely people, somebody's checking it out. And I think just those three songs gave me an idea that, okay, this guy's a gifted songwriter and musician because he can do more than just, a bunch of metal songs. He can do a pop tune, he can do something that sounds like alternative rock, and he can do an acoustic tune.
Yeah, I used to yeah. Oh, you might be talking about Fade You Out. You
That
talking
might,
about the
yeah,
acoustic song I did
yeah, it was kind
on
of an
video?
acoustic sounding, yeah.
Yeah, Fade You Out. I did that, yeah, acoustically, and Jameson Donahoe did a video of me doing that song. I actually got another video coming out explaining that song, what was written
Okay,
about
okay,
it too.
yeah,
Um, yeah, man, I used to do metal all the time, and when you do one thing all the time, it just kind of, I want to say gets stale, but I just want to say,
I agree. I mean, that's what I like about it. There's more than one side to what you're capable of doing. I mean, it's kind of like if you look at a band like Extreme, okay, the song that everybody talks about is More Than Words or Wholehearted because those were all
oh
over
yeah,
TV. But if you listen to other stuff, they're much heavier band, but people think they're a pop band.
I always think of Come Out and Play, man.
Yeah, yeah. Or
That
even
sound
Mr.
familiar?
Big. The original one song was "To Be With You," which was an acoustic ballad. But if you
Yeah, I
listen to
say,
other stuff, much
dude, that
heavier.
whole album, lean into it's awesome, dude. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you on that. No, I don't know, man. I did the angry. I think I made a post the other day actually talking about how, I used to do nothing but angry music, man, angry, dark music. And I realized there's more than one emotion to express besides just that. As you get older, I know you kind of lose that youthful angerness or whatever,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, the angerness, you can only climb that mountain so long.
yeah, yeah,
So I see a lot of the metal bands out there and I see it, it's cool, and I can listen to it, but I can't listen to it all the time.
yeah,
I definitely can't do it all the time. I did
yeah.
it for a long time. Like,
Yeah, and of course, you're still an up and coming artist, so you don't have much of a choice, I guess. But I dig the fact that you're still creating new music, you're still writing new stuff. I mean, there are people that even after three albums are like, you know what? Nobody's buying CDs anymore. Why should we bother writing any new tunes? And I dig the fact that you're still out there creating.
it's not easy, man. It's not easy right now. It's been hard. I'm getting older.
Yeah,
Uh, your average guy who works in a factory Monday through Friday, doing my thing on the weekend, just trying to make my mark. You know what I mean? There was a time when I was in a metal band, Jägermeister band, sponsored. I opened for Stain, 3 Days Grace in front of 14,000 people. I've had a taste of that.
Yeah.
I worked with, when I was in Chicago, I had a great band. We were getting ready to record an album with Chris Steinmetz, who did the Kiss Revenge record. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I've been really close to getting signed and being on a label. But I don't know, man. I finally just got over it and just
So
said,
what's
I
going
got
on
over
with
like
Bosstel? I mean,
I want to
yeah.
write as many songs as possible, play as many shows as possible, and that's what makes me happy, you know.
So what's going on with Bosstel? Have you guys played out live at all yet, or are you
Oh yeah,
working towards a new
oh yeah.
EP on that?
Bosstel opened for Saving Abel.
Okay.
We've opened for Otherwise, and we opened for Texas Hippie Coalition.
Again,
We're
wow, what a broad mixture of bands. But
right at the gate, man. Yeah, right out the gate. Now things have slowed down a little bit because I think a lot of the big nationals are doing all these big package tours, as you can see, all these big festivals and stuff like that. And I'm obviously not at that level. So I'm playing a lot of just with the connections I have in my area. My area, like my town here,
Mhm.
there's only like two bars, like two venues or bars that
Yeah.
accept original music.
Wow.
Usually it's mainly cover bands. This is a college town, it's a sports town, blue collar, so I play the two venues here, but I have to play it out like Chicago. I travel out to Battle Creek, Michigan. I've got a few friends that own venues, and I play those venues. I play the Hobart Art Theater a lot. I play in Music Factory, but mainly because the level of the songs, I think the songs are professional.
Sure,
I
sure.
I'm putting something out there that's solid, that's commercial, that can open for a band like Puddle of Mud or open for bands like that. So in between that time, I'm just writing, recording, doing interviews with like people like you that really help me get my name out there. I
Sure.
appreciate it. And then I just build my media presence in between doing shows.
And you're
I'm
doing a
not
great job at that because let me tell you, since you and I initially hooked up as friends on Facebook and I interviewed you the first time, I'm seeing a lot more of your stuff pop up all over the place and people are really checking out.
oh
So, who's going to promote yourself better than you, right?
right, man. It's not an arrogance or anything like that.
No,
It's just I don't have a publicist. I don't have money to pay a publicist.
exactly.
So I do everything myself.
The
I
fact
try.
that you're getting your name out there as well as you are, I think there's something to be said for that, because even if you had
Right.
a publicist you were paying, he probably has, another 10 or 12 acts he also is working with.
All right. I don't have any of that. I definitely don't have the finances for that. I'm just like everybody else in the world right now, struggling with the inflation and everything
Yeah.
else.
And the fact that you're getting the numbers you are like on YouTube, because again, you're extremely lucky. Not only people go on your YouTube page, I mean, I'm talking about just people in general, you know, um, and they play your song all the way through. The fact that you're getting the kind of numbers for each song, I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you, man. I mean, I just do what I do. I don't know. I like writing songs, and I've been writing songs for a long time.
You can hear that.
But it started out for me where I just sang in bands and sang in bands and sang in bands. And then you're trying to get the band that you're in to, kind of play your idea that's in your head.
Mhm.
And then if you have somebody, I'm not going to say any names or anything,
Yeah,
but I've had people just like want to change me or turn me into what they want me to be. And
exactly.
I
Yeah.
had to break away and start my own studio here in a bedroom and do it myself. And
You
then,
gotta stay true to who you are because you can tell even the most famous bands when they try to they try to allow somebody else to mold them into what they really aren't. And okay, well, we're
right,
going to do this if you think it'll help us sell records. And that's
right.
when fans start to turn away.
I actually had a friend. I got a friend. He's a partner, my friend of mine. He kind of invests in me a little bit. I do have vinyl and stuff like that. Um, he said to me, man, he goes, if a label came along with you now, they probably have a hard time working with you because you control like everything you're doing. I'm not trying to be like that. I just don't, when you have tried with other people and they just don't get your vision,
Yeah.
then sometimes you just got to do it yourself and go,
Yeah,
fine,
because you even look at some of the most famous bands, like to take even a great classic rock band like Creedence Clearwater Revival. The main guy in that band, John Fogerty, wrote all the stuff. For years
yeah,
he could, he wouldn't play his songs that made him famous because the record company owned all his music, and he
yeah,
lost all the rights and stuff. Because at the time they were very young, they didn't know what they were signing. They believed what everybody was telling them, and they signed a
yeah.
bad deal.
Oh, I was that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't take a deal now as long as I
Sure.
could, if I could quit my job and it made the
Yeah.
same money I make where I'm working,
Yeah.
I'd do it in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
But there's just reality, Jason,
Yeah.
That's all. I've been very close to getting record deals. I've been around good people and I've been around some bad people
Yeah. Yeah.
too in this industry, man. So you just finally break away and you ask yourself, and I took a year where I was just by myself, literally by myself, away from everything. You're looking at somebody who was in a band that was real popular. Everybody wanted to know me. And suddenly, when I followed my heart and did my own thing, everybody disappeared. So I was alone and I had to face the fact. I was like, why am I doing this? Am I
Yeah.
doing to be famous and be in front of thousands of people? Or am I solely doing it because I love writing songs and I love performing?
Yeah,
And
and yet again, what you got to tell yourself, Jamie, is the fact that, like I said, you might not have sold a whole ton of physical CDs or vinyl or anything right now, but you're working towards that. And even the fact that you're posting these songs on YouTube or Spotify, and people, you're getting the numbers you are, people are checking. Those are your true friends. Those are your true fans. Those are the
yeah,
people you need to really listen to, not the so-called friends that are no longer talking to you because you're not a
yeah,
fan anymore.
they used to be in the front row and now suddenly they don't want to talk to you. It's
Yeah,
funny. I know I've learned, but that's the lesson you learn.
yeah,
You you learn who your real friends are when you're just the average person. You
yeah.
know, when you're up there, you don't know who your friends really
And
are.
I respect the fact that you just told us that you're a working musician, like a lot of people. Meaning, this music thing is not what you do full time. It's what you would love to do, and
Oh
and you're
no.
and you're honing your craft, and you're still out there doing it, still writing new songs. But you got to have a job to pay the bills as well.
Yeah, that's the thing I want to bit. If I want people to like me because I'm just like you. I'm
Yeah,
just a normal person who happens to have a little bit of talent, who likes to do this, when I have time in between my responsibilities.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just a normal guy, man. I'm not
I was
trying to
just
be.
curious. If any of the guys that you work with at your regular job, you ever tell them, "Hey, I do this music on the side," and you ever got a response from any of your coworkers?
The people I work with,
Would be interested. Yeah.
not really, dude. You
So,
know, I always try to get people involved,
yeah,
but some people, if they don't know you,
yeah.
and you at them, if they don't, they might think you're arrogant or think
I
you're
got you.
like,
I got you.
you're not bragging about yourself. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, I really want your support. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Kind of like what I said. I guess it's more about letting the people find you, and then turning themselves on to, and then maybe spreading the word, telling their friends about this great band.
Yeah,
So,
it's a fine line. Even my drummer Wayne in Bosstel, he goes, a lot of these people say this person got ego, this person got it. Look, man, if you want to be on a stage and you want that attention, you have an ego. I don't care who you are. That's the reality. That's the
yeah.
reality I'm going to spit out of my mouth,
Yeah, and how do you deal with the so-called haters? I mean, I don't know if you have many of them, but people, I'm talking about people that go online and they don't even know you, and maybe they know you only through a song you posted or something. Oh, this guy, he thinks he's all that. But again, how would they know? They've never met you. They're
How to deal with it's not easy to deal with. I'll be honest with
yeah,
you. I have some past band members doing that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they're bitter because I don't know,
Didn't work
I
out.
didn't
Yeah,
follow their lead or whatever they wanted from me. I blazed my own trail. I guess maybe they couldn't handle that. I don't know,
yeah,
you know. But as far as the way I handle it, I'll be really. I'll open up. It's not easy,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
tell myself if I was in a much bigger level, how do they handle it?
yeah. Sure. Yeah,
Some probably handle it from drugs, drinking, or have a publicist handle it for them.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I tell people if these people, want to say something, I'll just tell them, why don't you come to the source?
There
You
you go.
know,
Yeah.
and that's music aside. That's just me as an adult saying, well, you're not going to ever get to know anybody through rumors and gossip. The
Yeah,
only
yeah.
way you're going to know anybody is if you come straight to the source and say, hey, did this really happen?
And they might be
I,
surprised. They might be pleasantly surprised. You know what? That this guy took the time to reach out to me
yeah,
and tell me, let me get to know him really. And they might be surprised. he's not the jerk I thought he.
I've actually had people come to me and say, hey, man, I was wrong about you and
Yeah,
I'm
that's good.
sorry.
Yeah,
I came and seen you a long time ago. And it's like, yeah, man, be careful what you hear because,
yeah, yeah.
it took a minute, even with my band now, I don't know who, but there was somebody was contacting my drummers saying, what's it like working with Jammie? I heard he's like this, he's like this. And he's
Wow,
like, he's easygoing, he's professional.
that's not
I
my
would
experience. Yeah,
I wouldn't be who I am if I wasn't able to take criticism and molded me into being as good as I am at what I do. I never think I'm good enough. I'll put a song out. I'll be like, yeah, that was good, but I want to outdo that one. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I always have the mindset. I don't know. Everything for me is just try to have class, try to be professional. And, as far as anybody, I don't retaliate on Facebook or anything like that. The next thing I'll just put out a badass album next,
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
music talk,
Maybe
if
even
you
write a song about
you
it,
want to
huh?
sit on your hands and you don't want
Yeah.
to come to a show, we just had a good show here in South Bend, local bar here. Cheers, with a band from Colorado.
Wow.
Um, they were great, man. They were absolutely great. They're called Reno Divorce. You should interview them. They're
Okay.
freaking awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I'll check them
They were,
out.
oh, dude, you love them. They remind me of Social Distortion, and they get that a lot. They said that to me too. But I made friends with these guys. These guys were super cool. I've played with I've played with some regional bands, who just think their shit don't stink and they're all that. And these guys, man, that's also part of liking a band,
Mm-hmm.
not just their music, but who they are off stage too,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And people just lose that, man, and just be a
I
down to earth
mean,
person.
Jamie, this speaks volumes about your character to me. The fact that if you were the real ego-driven guy that people maybe think you are, you'd be on here talking about nothing but yourself. You've come on and mentioned at least two or three bands. Tell me, hey, you should check these guys out. And on your
Oh yeah,
recommendation, I'm going to
I
do
was
that.
just
Yeah,
I was disappointed because we didn't have a lot of crowd. It was the day after. It was the day after
yeah,
St. Patrick's Day.
sure.
But I'm not calling anybody out. But I really wanted to see my brothers and sisters in the local scene here come check this band out and support that they came from Colorado
Mm.
because they were freaking awesome, man.
I'll
You
have to check
know,
that out. Yeah,
and I think a lot of it, and I'm not pointing nobody out or anything, but I think a lot of it for other bands is they don't want to come out and watch a good band because it might make them feel like, well, shit, I got to work harder now.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
understand what I mean when
Sure,
I
sure.
say that?
Yeah,
You know, I like to learn from bands that are better than me.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'll study their stage presence or whatever, and I'll get ideas how I can improve myself.
Oh, sure.
and and that's an everyday task for me is how can I improve myself as a person, as a writer, all that. And there's a lot of people that just go about life and just float through life and don't think like that, but I'm always thinking about how can I rebuild myself into
Yeah.
being better than I was yesterday.
Yeah,
you know
Jamie, this is from my own ears listening to some of your music. I personally know, and I want people to go check out your music because I think to my ears, anyways, you're a great frontman. You're a great songwriter. Um, we know you're a great guitar player. Here's a question: you mentioned you've always been a singer, but like a lot of people, I'm assuming, did you start out being a guitar player and kind of become a singer? Because hey, writing my own music, who else is going to sing the stuff?
I started out just playing an acoustic guitar in my living room, drop D tuning, the easiest tuning you can,
Yeah,
just because I wanted to get. I don't know what it was. It's just my life. I had some bad things happen in my life, and you just vent.
oh,
And
sure.
I sit down with the guitar and just like write these little songs. Just came out of venting. I wasn't even thinking about being in a band. It was so weird, Jason, because it was just something I gravitated towards. I played
Okay.
trumpet band and I was in band and all that. But just one day, actually, I'll tell you a little story, and it's affiliated with Joe Lawson. Um, we had a friend, we had a mutual friend. His name was Bill Dow. He
Okay.
played guitar in Blind Rage, which was the band that Joe Lawson was in,
Okay.
right? I knew Joe and Bill back in high school, man. And I remember asking Bill, what's the easiest way to play guitar? I just wanted to know the easiest way because I never, you know, I thought it looked confusing, you
Mhm.
know. So I was like, there's got to be an easier way. I was just like, there's got to be an easier way. So I asked him, and he told me, oh, here, dude, drop D tuning, and I rolled with that for years. I
Wow.
just hung on to that because, well, honestly, it was kind of a special thing. He showed me that. He ended up committing suicide. I don't know if
Oh,
Joe
wow.
ever told. Uh, so I just said, okay, you know what? In the name of Bill, I'm just gonna play and drop D and just write. And I went to open mics and stuff, and I would just write songs in my living room, go to open mics, and just play these little songs. Like I was probably Nirvana good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was just writing the songs. And what I would do is I would join these bands, and I'd be like, "Well, I have an idea," and I would play on a guitar, and I would tell a guitar player, "Well, you're a guitar player. You can play better than me. Here, you play that, but this is what I'm hearing," and I would just play what I'm hearing and give it to them.
Wow.
Well, after years of finally, I was in a big band. It was called Signal. We were sponsored by Jägermeister and stuff. It was good and that. Long story short, it started to become where the guys in that band wanted to be heavy and dark and that. And here I am writing stuff like Foo Fighters style music, like what you're hearing within my blood and
Yeah.
more than enough and stuff like that. I was like, well, okay, you guys don't want to do this. That's fine. I'll find somebody who does. And that's how John Sturr came along. I was playing at an open mic, playing acoustic guitar with just a drummer. John walked in and said, hey, I like these songs. What's up with that? You're in this band. Are they doing them? And I was like, well, no, they don't really fit that style. That's the way I explained it. But
Okay.
the truth was, they just didn't like my style. So I was like, okay, I can give a happy medium here. I can just sing for you guys, and you go ahead and write the music. That's fine. But I didn't even know, dude. I was just like, one day I'm going to put these songs together that are sitting in a notebook, basically, that I wrote in my living
Wow.
room.
Wow.
And little did I know that one day would be the day John Sturr walked into that bar, the guitar player for freaking Lillian Axe, dude.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Wow.
It's an amazing story, man. And then I remember the first time I played with him, I looked at John and I said, I just want you to know, man, I'm not a guitar player. I just use the guitar as a tool to get my ideas out, and I have guitar players play what I want because they're better than me.
I love that story because, I mean, I'm not a musician myself, just listening. I'm like, man, this guy's a great guitar player. And you're telling me I'm really not, but you make it work for yourself. And I think anybody listening to music,
Well,
you're able to.
I had to because guitar players kept quitting on me.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go.
What it was is they would just like want to change me into a metal guy.
Yeah.
It kept happening. Whereas like, yeah, you're good in that. That's cool. But you want to take a simple song like I'm writing and turn it into shred fest. You know what I
And
mean?
you even look at a band like Def Leppard. If you go back to the first Def Leppard album, they almost were a full blown metal band, and they've kind of morphed into a pop band. So
Right.
it's kind of both sides of what they can do, you know.
Yeah. And there's some people like, oh, Def Leppard sucks. And I'm thinking, well, can you do what they do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, as far as dealing with comments and stuff, that reminds me. When I see people, I had a guy, I don't know who it was, I can't remember. This guy said, Jammie Bosstel is the worst vocalist in the business. Now I could take that to heart and go, okay, but instead in my mind, I'm just like, well, I want to see what you can do.
Yeah, exactly what I would have said. I would have said, okay, well, let's hear what you've done. Let's hear your latest.
I want to hear your song
Yeah, yeah,
from
put it up next to mine. Yeah,
from thin. I want to see you create something out of thin air.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I tip my hat to
So
Jamie. Yeah,
I'm confident in my knowledge in that to know that people like that. It's just like I don't know what it is, jealousy or whatever. I don't know.
it's not even
You
worth
know,
mentioning a guy like that. It's not even
no,
worth mentioning his name and giving him the 5 minutes of fame he wishes he had.
right. There's one guy, like I said, there's one guy who keeps running his mouth. He won't shut up about me that used to play with me, and it's just like, dude,
What have you
get
done
over
lately,
yourself.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Well, the guy found he found his style. That was the style he wanted. He should be happy with what he's doing.
Exactly.
I'm a completely different person than I was when I played with him. And what I write now is completely different. You
Hey,
know,
like the Beatles said, life goes on. I mean, I'd
yeah,
like to
man.
thank you, Jamie, for taking time to do this. And like I said, you're definitely welcome back anytime. So next time you release a video or single, I'd love to have you back on, maybe in about a month or two. So
Oh, we will. Bosstel's going to be bringing out a single called "This War,"
uh,
and the music video is supposed to be out actually this coming week.
okay, well,
So,
I'll check that out, and maybe we'll set something up for April. But thanks for doing this. 'Cause I'd love to have you back, and I think we've only scratched the surface here.
all right, man. Yeah, I love hanging out with you, man, and talking to you.
Anytime. Take care, my friend. You have a good day. Bye bye.
All right, brother. Later.